Welcome to Glow Up or Get Out.
So as you guys can see, we're in a different location today. We are at Willie's Tin Shop in Long Beach with Markus.
Hello.
We've talked a lot about Markus on our podcast, so if you haven't heard about Markus, you're not listening. That's all I gotta say. Markus is our mentor. Which we'll talk about more later. But we're going to start off the series with a light question, and we're going to ask you, what is the first thing you do when you wake up?
I wish I had like a more solidified routine, but I think the one thing that's consistent is that I drink water, because I'm usually thirsty at night. I sleep with a water bottle next to my bed, so that's probably the first thing that I do. And then right after that, I try to figure out what are my priorities for the day, which I probably have done already the night before I went to bed, because that's one of my routines. But in the morning, you know, things happen last minute, you get some emails, and based on your meeting schedule, things might have to be switched around. So really trying to figure out what on my to-do list do I actually want to do today.
Got it.
Got it. I can relate to that.
Yeah, same. Sounds pretty productive. Really productive.
You have to build a routine, especially as an entrepreneur, because you don't have to come to work and like you have to make your own schedule. You have to make your own priorities, which is a lot more challenging. A lot of people don't realize that. And when you're dealing with multiple ventures, you're like, okay, which of my babies?
Where do I focus?
Which of my babies am I going to feed today? Because I cannot feed them all.
Which one am I going to feed them?
Yeah, we had a whole episode about routines and how important they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, you were correct. But basically, Markus is our mentor. We met him through college. We went to Cal State Long Beach.
I think we met him our sophomore year of college.
Yes.
Yeah. Took like our first marketing course.
Principles of marketing.
Right.
Oh, he remembers. I don't remember the name.
But
I teach the class. I should remember the name of that.
You teach it today?
Yeah, I did. Not this semester, but last semester I taught it.
Oh, okay. Same style. No book.
No book.
All just free.
He said you can buy the book.
I kind of got lazy. So for that 300 level class, I do use a book now and quizzes. But for my 400 level class, which you've taken as well, my digital marketing class is still very much project based.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot to do projects for a class that big.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it was good. I liked it, but for you.
I mean, the craziest thing is, and that was my biggest mistake I made teaching that class, is I have 125 students in that class, and I did an essay final. And I didn't I didn't realize.
You said A.
I have to read 120 essays.
You said this is a great idea.
I thought this quality assurance, and like I maybe overdid it on that one. Like I remember my sister from Spain was visiting with like her husband and her 2 kids, and I'm literally for an entire week just reading papers, you know?
Oh, that's awful.
At some point I was just weighing them. You know?
You're like, is this good?
The handwriting's kind of nice. They worked hard all semester.
I actually know their names.
Yeah.
You know? Participation points.
That is good.
But I feel like that class was really inspiring for us.
Yeah, I think it was a moment of like, I think
I don't think I want to have a 9 to 5.
Yeah. And, you know, in the beginning, like the first year of college, everyone tells you like, make sure you are staying connected and like talking to your professors. And that stuck to my head so much that I was like, I'm going to write him a note. And then I told you, and then we like, okay, well, let's both write him a note.
And then at the final, we were like,
here you go.
And you were like, thanks. And we were like, okay, let's go. Let's get out of here.
It's our form of making an impression. And I think obviously we did. We're here today.
It clearly worked to an extent. And then we just ended up taking you for like, I think the next semester we had you for another class.
Well, I had I think I had.
You had me. How do I know your agenda of which classes you took with me?
I know it better than you know. Out of my
it feels like it's.
It was so dramatic of an experience. It just blocked out.
Blocked it.
Like never mind.
No, but you took strategic marketing with me, and you were taking the organizational.
Yeah, but that was senior year, so we waited.
Oh, senior
we
year.
didn't do junior.
Right. I was gonna take digital marketing with him, but I think your class was booked
full.
or something, and you couldn't squeeze me in. And I was like, well, all right then.
Yeah. But for junior year, I don't know what happened. I think we talked to you. I'm pretty sure we would.
I
mean, we followed
connected.
you and stuff, so we'd obviously like comment on stuff.
Yeah, because we connected on social media, and that's how kind of we stayed in touch, and you stayed in touch on the projects that I'm working on as well.
Totally.
Because I'm certainly not shy on my social media.
No.
At Markus Biegel. On IG, Snapchat,
Shameless plug.
TikTok.
Oh yes, he's on TikTok.
On
guys.
all of it, everybody.
Cloud, what's it?
SoundCloud? Oh, Clubhouse.
Love Clubhouse. I mean, I think you guys know like the entire story of like how we started. So that kind of brings into how Markus comes into, but he really was like the person to tell us to do this together. And from then on, like he just became our mentor of entrepreneurship. So.
Yeah, he had a lot of hope in us that maybe we didn't have graduating college. I feel like graduating college, we were both like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm already doing kind of something, but it's not like great or whatever. And then you were like, well, why don't you guys just do something together? And we were like, huh.
Never thought of that.
Never thought of that. Genius. But you were also moving, so we were like,
how are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
That slowed things down a little bit for, 9 months or so? Or was it a
Yeah.
year? Yeah.
9 months. No, it was like 10 months.
I mean, we were making it
Work.
happen. We learned a lot in those 9 months, but yeah, definitely when you came back, it was, things started rolling. One of the things also that we really loved about your class and classes was that you made a really big point on talking about personal branding. So we felt like, because I think Instagram was like really starting to pop off like at the beginning of college and being like, like influencers, whatever. So we were like, like I want to do that. And then he's also the one that inspired me to start my blog. So then we were just like going here. Yeah, we keep going in on that, and we just felt like we connected with the idea of personal branding. So going off of that, Marcus, what would you consider your personal brand to be?
Personal brand is an interesting, it's a little bit of a mindfuck, to be honest, because it starts really with like being self-aware and like looking in the mirror and asking yourself, okay, who am I? And who do I want to be when I grow up, in a sense? And then why do I want to become that person? What's my big why of why I am in existence, right? And once you find that, which that's not an easy search, because it requires you being completely transparent with yourself, with your skill sets, with your passions, with your interests, right? And then setting goals and figuring out, are these the correct goals? Would I actually be happy achieving X, Y, Z? And once you have set that up, then you understand who you are today and you understand who you have to become in order to achieve your goals. And then you basically figure out a personal brand that fits that. So once you have identified that personal brand, you can figure out, okay, being in this industry, being still true to who I am, how do I fit in, right? Because one of the things I always talk about in the classroom is like you don't have to wear a suit and have a briefcase and now that's how you become successful. You can be successful, doesn't matter who you dress and who you are as a person, you just got to find out your niche, right? Which is so beautiful about the world that we live in today, that everybody's accepted. They just got to find out the place where they fit in.
Totally.
And be successful in terms of whatever they define success. So that's essentially how you work on your personal brand and develop what that personal brand looks like. And then personal branding from a more definition standpoint means the content that you're pushing out on social media of how you want people to perceive you. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you push out, because people are going to perceive like personal branding is, it's two-way street. It's what you push out, but it's also how people look at you, you know? And when you're involved in so many things like I have over the years, like there's people, if they followed me since last October, they're like, oh, Marcus the whiskey guy, you know? But it could also be like, oh, Marcus the professor, or it could be like Marcus that works in politics, or like all the different hats that I've had over the years.
Can we just say serial entrepreneur?
Yeah, but like that sounds like everybody that started like a clothing company.
That's
and now
literally
like,
what I said. I was like, if he says that, I don't think he will, but... I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it means nothing, you know. And like so many people, like they invest, they make their first day trade for $100, and they're like, oh, I'm an investor now. Like, really though. Like I always think like the definition is really like what is making you actually money, the core of your money. That's kind of who you are. Like that's the core of your personal brand in a sense, right? And so that's one way to look at it. For me personally, I've kind of reduced it down to knowing that I'm an entrepreneur. I love building companies, and that's what I used to say when I was younger. But the truth is that I love building people, because a company is nothing but a collection of people. And I'm really passionate about building people, whether that's an intern that's coming in, whether it's building my business partners, or whether it's even truly building myself. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to continue to learn and continue to become better and never be complacent, you know? So when a new technology platform pops up like TikTok, I'm definitely too old to be on
Marcus
TikTok.
is on
but
it.
I'm on it, you know? I'm going to be tacky. Everything.
Not TikTok. I think that's like such an inspirational way to look at things too, though, because I think something you said was like, it's just like finding where you fit in, because I think that's like also the scarcity mindset, like I can't make it because it's already been done.
Saturated.
I think there's like a difference between like it being saturated and then also you just not trying. So like I think something that you've also taught us is that like there's always room for some, like everyone has their place, like there's room for everyone, and like there's enough for everyone in like this entrepreneur like bubble, you know?
Even when we were like in your class, like senior year, you were like, oh, everyone becomes a consultant when you leave, and then you were like, be consultants, and we were like, okay, so it works. And it's true, like we have such a specific niche like that we fit in that is obviously different from our competitors, who are technically not our competitors because they're in a different niche.
Right.
Which is my mistake when I started consulting, because I would consult for anybody and everybody under the world. Yeah. And I would do all these consulting gigs and learn a lot of stuff, which was great for my educational purposes. Yeah. But also, like, sometimes I worked on a project I was truly passionate about, and other times I wasn't. Right. And then I realized, after working myself almost to death, that, I should be working on projects that I truly believe in, you know? And that's when I started consulting on projects, taking minority stake in those projects. And right now I'm doing very little consulting because I'm just focusing 24/7 mainly on my businesses as well as teaching on the side.
Yeah. Nice. So I guess like going forward with that, give the people, I guess, like a little background, because I think we know like all of your endeavors and like what you do.
I don't even know all my endeavors. I have also put them in a box far away from me, so I don't.
Oh my god. Just give us like background on like, I guess, what you're doing now. What
led you to these endeavors?
Yeah, I mean, as an undergraduate, my first company was a tech venture, and with tech venture, it was a tech venture. Yeah, so see how much you listen. You've heard the speech like 3 times.
Your partner like left and like got a full-time job or something.
Yeah. I mean, I had 2 partners. It was basically a tech
startup. Show off.
I remember.
Yeah, and it was a tech startup, and the problem with tech is it doesn't make really money, and it was kind of like a social network in a sense, and I needed to make money somehow, and my partners, they decided to get management training kind of jobs at Verizon and Enterprise, and I didn't want to do that, so I decided to start my own consulting business. Because I had a decent amount of connections in my phone book, because as a student I was very involved on campus. I was at some point the vice president of student government. Okay. So I met a lot of professionals in the community. I knew a lot of alumni, and I had all of their cell phone numbers, or at least were connected with them on LinkedIn. So I would just be out there doing my connections, asking people if they need somebody to help them do some marketing strategies or things like that.
Was it marketing specifically?
Yeah, it was specifically marketing, because that was really my forte. That's what I felt strongest in, my skill set. And then through that, I got involved in all kinds of businesses. The first bigger one was probably Unified People, which was the clothing company. And then after that, I started a media company. And under that media company, we had like 90 different brands for different websites. And some of them were like more interesting, more successful than others, of course, because I couldn't run obviously all 90 websites. Yeah. So there was like a core 5 or 6 that I really focused on. And then after that became the dog accessory business, which the Benny Barker one, which was really fun for me. And then there was AutoJoy, the hearing electronics company. And then now we have this. When I got into CBD, through my skincare company called Reich. And finally now we are here, whiskey, Dirty Prospector, and we're doing that. And there's probably right now another 10 brands or 10 projects in the pipeline, and some of them are like
always go Marcus.
Some of them are like, I can do this year, it's going to launch this year, and then there's other projects where I'm like, this is not going to launch for 10 years.
Right.
But I already have the brand, I already have the name, I already have XYZ.
You're
long term for sure.
Yeah. So does that mean you want to keep doing this?
Yeah. I mean, what else am I going to do?
I don't know.
This is his purpose.
Maybe.
I mean, the funny thing is, like, I enjoy doing it. Like, it's not like sometimes there's certainly parts that feel like work, and it's like not fun. Yeah. But then there's aspects of it where I'm like, oh, I'm actually enjoying this. Yeah. It's actually fun to do these things, Like, for example, for our whiskey brand, we have this like whiskey membership that's called like the Founders Club, and it's limited to only 49 people. Yeah. Now, what I'm looking forward to when COVID is finally like at the end of it and everybody has their vaccine is that I can do events with these 49 who are also all influential people. And I can just hang out with my friends, drink whiskey, and we talk business, Yeah. I enjoy doing that. I love doing that. That doesn't feel like work to me, And it always makes me feel like just like uplifted. After a networking event, when I come home, I'm not drained. I actually have energy. I'm pumped. I'm home at 12. I probably work till 3 a.m.
Wow.
Not everyone.
Not everybody's.
After a networking event, I'm like, Lord,
talking to people makes me just.
Yeah. One thing that I started doing that kind of like maybe a good tip for some people out there is every time I leave a meeting or every time I leave a networking event, like you might have an idea, and you don't have time to write it down, or for you to write it down, you almost lose your train of thought. So I just do a video. So I have like a bunch of crazy videos in my phone.
Like self-tapes?
Yeah, like just the selfie
You're
videos.
like, hey, Marcus, it's me again.
And even I do it when I go running. Sometimes when I go running, like I always joke people like, how do you handle your problems? I run away from them, which basically means I go jogging. And when I hit that 3 mile, 5 mile mark, all of a sudden I kind of clears it up.
That's so cool.
And then there's this video where I'm like, when I get home, I'm gonna.
You're gonna do this.
That's a good tip.
Yeah,
That is really good.
So because otherwise you forget, and like it's almost like when you wake up and you know what the dream was, and then you forget your dream. Like, damn it, I should have written it down.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to make sure that you have it.
I mean, we've never mentioned running. We've always been like meditate, journal.
No,
Good perspective.
And those are so important too, because they help you keep your mindset straight, especially when you're younger and you haven't developed like that tough skin yet, where you start to doubt yourself,
right?
Which I'm not saying that I doubt myself all the time, but at least you're building a tougher skin so you stay motivated.
Totally.
Because the difference between you staying in bed all day watching Netflix, or the difference between you getting up and hustling all day might just be like, the difference might be meditating, might be journaling to get yourself from a funky mood into a good mood, and then let's go.
Yeah.
Or taking a day off might be the difference in tomorrow kicking ass.
Right, yeah.
Being a half-ass day.
You got to take some time for yourself too, and that's something that I'm learning as I'm getting older. I think I started slowing down in my 30s, but in my 20s I was going pretty hard. Like 100 hours would be an average of average work week.
That sounds really intense. Okay, so I mean, obviously you have like a lot that you have going on, and obviously all these ideas. What does your day-to-day look like?
It really switches every day because sometimes I have meetings starting at like 9 a.m. So I have to get up at 6 to do some critical task, do some meeting prep, and then I'm in those meetings from like 9 to like 2 or 3. So it's all day just and right now it's all digital meetings, right? Which I actually don't mind. I'll prefer in-person meetings, but these digital meetings, it's easy, quick, 1 hour.
You don't have to drive
time
there.
saving for sure. Yeah.
Very efficient, so I can just be back to back to back. And then after those hours, probably need to eat something.
Good idea.
And then I go back into like doing some follow-up work for those meetings to have immediate feedback to it, or work on some other critical tasks I had to do for that day. And then another day is purposely I have no meetings all day because I'm supposed to just be on my laptop, be a good boy, and work. So the days really change. But I try to have those days when I have my meetings fully scheduled, and then have those meetings where have nothing scheduled, so I can actually catch up on my real work.
Nice.
As well as my evenings are usually used for research hours. So when I'm exploring new industries, I do a ton of research to get educated on it. And so right now I'm looking into NFTs, which is part of cryptocurrencies.
Totally.
I'm looking into the mushroom market because that's something that's becoming more legalized. Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah.
What? They're becoming legalized?
What are they called?
Well, there's already, some states already have opened that up.
Yeah, like Oregon.
Yeah, so right now it's
and like microdosing? No, like none of this.
Yeah. Girl, look at
so right now it's mushroom hunting season. And what that means what that means is like I already right now, like I don't know if I'm going to be in a mushroom game in 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, but I am going to be in a mushroom game.
You heard it here first.
I was like, I want to be on the mushroom
Glow Up or Get Out. You heard it here first.
So I need to learn, because I don't do mushrooms, so I need to learn that mushroom world terminology. And then using my branding skill set, I'm going to create these mushroom brands, buy up the domain names to have them, to that one day when somebody comes around and wants to start a mushroom business, boom, I got a name for it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just thinking ahead.
So nobody listening is doing anything in the mushroom world because you're trying to sell to them.
Yeah, I mean, like the funny thing is, I have so many ideas where I'm just like, a lot of times when I lecture, I'm like, here, take the idea, please. Somebody do this business.
Somebody do it.
Yeah, because I don't have time to do this business, or maybe I don't have the resources to do this business. But take the idea, put it out there in the world, and if somebody does it, I'd be happy if they do it and if they make a couple $1 million, because I wanted the solution.
Yeah.
I don't care if I created the solution. I just care that the solution exists.
Totally.
And you have to do the work.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I love that. Has anyone done that? Like taken one of your ideas and ran with it yet? I mean,
like we're kind of
taking.
I mean, like a lot of my former students, they have pursued the obviously the consulting route. So there's several that have done that, and there's several students that have become entrepreneurs where they looked at their heritage, their culture, and then developed products from their country and bring them over here, and basically doing an import-export type of business.
Nice.
So I've seen several students do that.
That's really cool.
in your start, did you have any mentors? Did you seek mentorship? How did you find them?
Yeah, I think I always had mentors. It's just like the mentors that I had, I think it wasn't like, oh, you're my mentor. Like we have a mentor hour.
We're like, Markus is our mentor.
Yeah, so we didn't like, it wasn't like a formal relationship,
Label.
even though we definitely had that relationship. And the fortunate part of being a consultant and working directly with small business owners is I'm working with these people who have started businesses that are successful, you know? And these are people that are very smart, very educated, and they have just interesting perspectives of how they think about business. And so just hearing their stories of how they started their businesses, I learned so much, even though I'm there consulting them, you know? And that's why I love working with new small businesses, because I get to hear other people's new perspectives, and I learn so much from it, which that is essentially the source of my mentorship, which that's how it has been in the past, and that's how it is still today.
So how many mentees do you have currently? Do you know?
I mean, again, it's not
Is it just like a non-official
are we the only ones who
situation?
say mentor or something?
I think there's probably a couple of people out there in the world that consider me a mentor per se, but I think there's.
We're foolish.
Like drop the label.
I actually looked.
He doesn't appreciate it.
It's just Markus now.
I looked at like my third year teaching. I kind of looked at how many actually meetings have I had with students of mine, right? Because I used to do these Saturday mentoring sessions, like I grab a coffee, like 10 o'clock meeting, 11 o'clock meeting, sometimes even 3 hours. And it would be my way of Saturday morning getting out of bed, being motivated to actually get out of bed on a Saturday and kind of give back, on a one-on-one kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And so I calculated that I've had over several hundred students of mine that I've mentored over the last 5 years that I've been teaching. So yeah, that number is quite up there.
What made you want to be a mentor?
I think it's not that I wanted to be a mentor.
you know.
It's like people started coming to me asking me for advice, and like it was like very inconvenient. Like
You're like, let's schedule this.
yeah, it's like, oh, can you chat with me like Thursday night, Tuesday night, or Friday morning, and then like people like it was just so much like from a scheduling standpoint. I'm like, I don't like this. This is too sporadic.
Right.
And when I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone.
Right.
And so I was like, let me just make a time for it. And then people can reserve their time slot. Saturday mornings, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12.
Yeah.
Pick your slot, and if no slot is available, then the week after that, And the way we usually would set up the meetings is that there is something in that meeting that they need to accomplish. And when they accomplish it in 1 week, hey, I'll meet with you next week, And if they haven't accomplished it in 3-4 months, then we're not going to have that other meeting,
Right.
So that's where like maybe I've had a lot of these meetings where I just met with somebody once, and that's it. Versus there's other people, such as yourselves, where I've met with you. I have no idea how many times we've met.
Too many times. Just kidding. Like, I don't know. So do you think that like through your mentorship or like you mentoring people is where you found that you like to help people develop and like help people grow?
I think I always had that even when I was a child, like in like first grade or whatever. I would see who the bully is, and they're bullying the little kid, and I'm like, oh, I bully the bully, Even though I was very little, I was like, I have no business bullying the bully, but I'm still gonna step up and
say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's awesome.
Ooh, this is a juicy one. How did you know that we were going to be good mentees, or just in general, like that we had something in us?
I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't.
You said
I had no, but it's like I have no idea what I'm getting myself into when somebody asks me for a meeting, because I don't even know how the conversation is going to go.
Right.
But then as I start getting to know you and start understanding your thoughts process, I'm like, okay, yeah, you guys are actually smart. You think
Thanks.
like
Thank you.
No, it's just the way you think about things. If you understand what I'm saying, if I throw to you a complex multi-tiered system, do you get it? Do you like, oh my god, or just like, okay, I don't get it? Like,
Right.
So and you actually got it. So it was like, okay, cool. You have the potential. You have the critical thinking and problem solving ability to actually be successful in this market. Otherwise, I would have not told you to be a consultant.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but that's something that I don't find out before I go into the meeting, and it's something that has to be also verified as time goes on. So when I see you guys creating the brand, great. Step 1, creating a logo. Step 2, building a social media account, building the website, and like, okay, you're actually
putting time
not
in.
just thinking about doing it, you're actually doing
executing.
it. Yeah. And so that's the important part. I'm like, okay, yeah, you guys are going to be successful. I think your biggest Achilles heel right now is still your confidence.
Why you just gotta
Well then.
shot me in the heart? Yeah, okay.
Isn't it? Because I like.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You guys are too sweet. You guys gotta go in there. So you cannot go into a business negotiation good cop and good cop. You need good cop and bad cop.
Who's gonna be the bad one?
Probably me.
Probably you.
That's why you have to have those roles. You have the yin to the yang, and then when you go into a meeting, you're just absolutely going to kill it. And then certainly COVID has put a little bit of a pause on things.
I think that's a major reason why our confidence is like a lot lower than it should be at this point in our business, is because we don't meet people. We don't there's not really any networking happening.
But see, I would be if I was in your situation right now, I'll be the clubhouse queens. I would have weekly. I wouldn't even be there every Thursday. I would be there every single night. Every single night, I'm joining another woman empowerment or marketing consulting thing, and then I'm going to eventually host my own Monday marketing advice. And then Wednesday is going to be, okay, so we're going to talk about women empowerment on Wednesdays, and we're going to drink a glass of wine while we do it, And then Friday we're going to do something else. I don't know. Ideas are easy. Ideas are easy, but I would be dominating on Clubhouse, easily getting myself probably 10, 20, 30,000 followers, and now you became an influencer on a brand new platform.
True. I think we do want to take advantage of it. It's just we're nervous. Again, confidence. I think we're nervous to put ourselves out there.
One,
you can do
two. I mean, we can. We literally put out podcasts talking about these topics. Right. I think it's just a matter of how do you even get people to come to the meeting?
And you are also brave, because the content that you guys are talking about, it's stuff that a lot of people would be vulnerable about.
Vulnerable?
Yeah, that word. So you guys talk about subjects that other people are probably not comfortable talking about, right? Because they don't like transparency, and transparency is the key to being authentic, and that's what that social media world loves, authentic people.
Yeah.
He's already mentoring us in the freaking episode. Of
course,
we're getting on Clubhouse.
I can't stop it.
It just comes out of him with ideas. I guess just ending things on mentorship if someone's trying to find a mentor.
Because I think that's a big
I'm too busy. No, sorry.
It's not going to be Marcus. Not Marcus. Please, we need him. Okay, don't.
He doesn't have time. But a lot of people want to probably know what is the best way to either develop a mentorship relationship, or how do you even seek a mentor?
Especially if you're not in college, I would say.
Hunting season again.
Not hunting season.
Well, it's mentorship hunting. First of all, you have to identify. Let's say you don't want to be an entrepreneur, or even if you do want to be an entrepreneur, it kind of is the same philosophy where you have to identify people that you want to be when you grow up, and find them where, like LinkedIn, for example, or you can find them on other social media platforms as well. But on LinkedIn, you're going to find these entrepreneurs that are in the industry that you want to be in. If you want to get a job in healthcare and you are a very innovative geek and you're passionate about healthcare, I would find the most innovative healthcare companies that are local, assuming that I don't want to move because I want to stay local for whatever reason. Right. So I find the local most innovative companies. I look at directors, VPs, and up at those companies, contact them all and ask them to sit down with me for a coffee, or during COVID times, if they have time, to jump with me on a 30-minute Zoom call, and that I just want to get some career advice and ask them a couple very simple questions, if they don't mind doing it. And if you do that to 50 people, 40 of them will say no or not respond, but 10 people will get back to you. And now you have 10 people that know you, that you have developed a relationship with. And how long did it take you to find those 50 people, contact those 50 people? Maybe a month. But in this month, you have built 10 new relationships. And if you do that for 1 year, how many new relationships do you have? 120. You don't think out of those 120 relationships, 1% of them will go above and beyond to get you a job? Or to give you your first big shot?
Yeah.
That's how it's done. That's how it's done. And that's what I tell students, and I've told you guys that. You on Monster and LinkedIn jobs, applying for jobs, it's a waste of time. It's going to take you 6 months, and guess where you're at? Nowhere.
Totally.
Versus you could have had 60 new best friends that are actually relevant, important people in the industry that you care about.
Good point.
Good point. So what is the best advice you've ever received?
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.
No, I think the best advice is kind of just to believe in yourself, and don't stress out. If so to say shit hits the fan, there's always okay, maybe I need to get rid of my expensive BMW lease. Great, I'll go back to my crappy little car that I had before, or maybe I have to move back home, with my parents, or maybe I have to do whatever it is I have to do in order to still be able to invest in my business, because I see the long-term goal. I see that long-term success. I will get mine. It's just a matter of time.
Confidence.
Confidence
There
and
it is.
mindset. That's all it is.
Oy. I think that was it for our questions. So next we're gonna hit glowing hour, which if you guys don't know, we drink during glowing hour, and obviously we're at a distillery.
Taking advantage of that.
And Marcus has a whiskey brand, so he's gonna show us exactly how to make a whiskey sour, right?
No.
Oh, what are we doing then?
We're doing a whiskey tasting.
Whiskey tasting.
Whiskey tasting, right.
Improvise.
Those are.
And then we'll have a whiskey sour.
Okay.
And then we will taste those.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Mine will be veganized.
Oh yeah.
No egg.
No egg.
No egg. That's fine.
Alrighty. It's a shot. It's a tasting, bro. Bro,
Sorry,
you're
I
like,
love the tastings. I just chug it.
welcome back. So now we are here getting
Getting some guidance, more guidance,
More
but in a
guidance.
different.
on a
Different
different
subject.
topic. Yeah.
Glowing hour. Welcome
I
back.
think this is Marcus's favorite part of our podcast.
The drinking part.
Now he gets to participate though.
So what we're going to walk you through is I'm first going to tell you a little bit about the brand. So Dirty Prospector is a whiskey brand, and the concept of the company is all small batch. So we're bringing out around 6 whiskeys per year, and all in very limited releases. So and once it's gone, it's gone. Okay. So we're out there all day barrel hunting, trying to get these unique barrels to create these very interesting flavor profiles. And the name is Dirty Prospector. And the name is really rooted very deep in Long Beach history. And as you guys know, as CSULB alumni, our former prospect mascot was Prospector Pete.
Right.
And our baseball team has the nickname the Dirtbags. So if you put Dirtbags and Prospector Pete together, you get Dirty Prospector.
Beautiful.
That's how we kind of came up with the name in a sense. But now when you look at the image of a Dirty Prospector, you think about this old wrinkly person with dirty hands and a weird hat and like a handkerchief around his neck, just working really hard to try to find some gold, and digging in the ground. So we're looking at California Gold Rush, right? Now, California Gold Rush was the biggest mass migration event in California history, when people from all over the world came here. But even those that just came from the East Coast, they had to travel over treacherous lands, and they could have just freaking died, just by trying to come here. And then once they actually get here, that's when they have to really put in hard work, literally get their hands dirty, and also remain faithful that the guy that's like 20 feet away that finds gold and they don't find gold, it's easy to get jealous. It's easy to get envious. So you have to keep a strong mindset and stay faithful that you're going to get yours. So those are still like taking a risk, making a commitment, and remaining faithful. Those are timeless principles that still apply today, where people from all over the world come to California for that California dream, to be entrepreneurs and business executives, or to be models, actors, and dancers.
Totally, yeah.
And those principles apply, and that's what the Dirty Prospector brand stands for.
That's awesome.
So what we're drinking today is our batch 3 release, which was made in an Oloroso sherry barrel. And so the way we do a tasting is that first, you pick it up.
Here we go, guys.
Para arriba, para abajo, no. No, so first you look at it, and we call it a visual inspection, but really you look at it and you ask yourself, do I deserve it?
Oh my!
I'm sorry.
Do I deserve it? Because
Probably not, but
Dirty Prospector is celebration whiskey. It's celebration whiskey. You don't drink this when your wife wants to leave you, your kids hate you, and even your dog doesn't like you and sits next to you on the sofa. This is the whiskey that you drink when your best friend that you haven't seen in 5 years is coming around and you're grabbing the nice, good bottle.
Gotcha.
Celebration.
Gotcha.
Just got a promotion. Just got a good
Just got a
client,
client.
right? Got a new client.
Cheers.
Cheers to
Right.
that.
So then you cheers, yes, because we now have a reason to celebrate.
Okay.
Then you put the glass slowly to your nose until you can start smelling it. And once you start smelling it, you kind of just go back and forth to kind of really let the aroma absorb. And then what you do is you take a tiny little sip, just enough to kind of like clean and be on your tongue and let it like soak in a little bit. Just a little one. And now it's kind of just cleansing your palate. And then you take a proper sip.
I think I took a proper sip. Okay. On accident. I didn't know when it was coming.
And now you're really going to see like the full flavor profile, the complexities of this whiskey. And so what does it look like? Whiskey. What does it smell like? Whiskey. What does it taste like? whiskey.
Absolutely.
The big question is, what does it make you feel like? And that's where conversations start. And good conversations with great people turns into memories for life. And that's, again, what Dirty Prospector stands for.
Beautiful.
So what does it make you guys feel?
I feel very warm.
I was like, I feel the burning
I
inside.
feel warm going down my esophagus.
I'm gonna say it's ambition, but it's
I feel
burning
the fire
in my chest.
building in me. That's what I feel.
Totally.
La pasión.
There you go.
There it is.
Well, I'm glad you didn't see, like, I feel disgusted.
No, I love it.
Well, the thing is, like, this is, obviously, the devil is in the details. So this whiskey is 49%. All whiskeys that come from Dirty Prospect are all 49% alcohol, which means that it has 9% more than the average
Whiskey.
alcohol that's out there. But for actually 49%, it's actually really, really smooth. And how long is our whiskey aged? At least 49 days, again.
Go with that theme.
Mostly, like,
Brandy.
our stuff is aged somewhere in the 50, 60 days range. But it's really the master craft of the master distiller who really is so good at picking these barrels, and what we're putting in these barrels just comes out so smooth, so flavorful, and complex and rich, where it really, like, when we brought our first batch out for $49, like, people were like, this is way too cheap. You need to sell this for $70, $80. And also because it's the first batch that we brought out was only like 270 bottles. So again, very, very limited. So we raised prices on our second and third edition, which again, the price is really justified. Anybody who drinks whiskey, they know this is good stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't know. But
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you'll get
But
there.
I like it.
Well, this is the funny thing too, is I was not a big whiskey drinker before getting into this business, you know? And now that I am in the business, now I'm actually learning way more, you know?
Right.
Out of my business partners, I probably know the least about whiskey.
Yeah.
But I know how to develop a brand. I know how to develop a community around a brand. And that's really where I'm an asset to this business. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that's something to enjoy.
Not used to sipping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, just toss it.
I just
I
want
love tequila. Just toss it back.
I mean, you can toss it if you want to. But this is definitely, like, you know, a lot of people don't drink it neat. It would drink it with maybe ice. But the funny thing is that it's smooth enough to be drinking just neat like this.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're here also to taste this concoction, which this is my go-to drink here at Roxanne's, which is adjacent here from Willie's Distillery. So whiskey sours, everybody that has had a meeting with me here that's a business partner of mine had many of these whiskey sours. We have spent tons of money here. Like I used to have a probably $500 bill a month just on whiskey sours at this location.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true story. That's pre-COVID, obviously.
Now you see why he likes
see the
this
finances.
segment.
Yeah. Why do you think my business partner let me become a partner in this whiskey brand? That's because he felt like he owes me one.
No, you spend a lot here.
Yeah. But whiskey sour is, kind of like, if you want to think like a pisco sour, which is my heritage because I'm also half Peruvian. Pisco sour, obviously made with pisco. This is a whiskey sour version of that, which is made with an egg white. That's the foamy part on top.
Not mine.
Not yours. You have the vegan version. But yeah, it's delicious. It kind of speaks for itself. It's an easy recipe to make. But instead of talking about it, why not just cheers?
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Okay.
Oh.
A second drink.
Okay.
Very
We made
smooth.
it way wrong the
Way
last
wrong.
time. I think we made it for going hour one time
Yeah, it was awful.
with Marcus.
With your
but
whiskey. But we put the most.
I don't know what we did wrong.
But it didn't taste like this.
But this is delicious.
This is delicious.
Well, the funny thing is, I would actually not recommend Dirty Prospector for a whiskey sour because the drinks that I would do with our drink, because it's like, you wouldn't make a mixed drink with like a $300 bottle of whiskey. 'Cause
Totally.
If you have a $300 bottle of whiskey,
makes sense.
you drink it neat or on ice, or you make a drink out of it where it's very still spirit forward, right?
Yeah.
A whiskey sour, you can use a cheap whiskey and it can still taste pretty decently, if the bartender is really good. Which here we have great bartenders. Come to Roxanne's. Follow us at Rock's Bar.
Shameless plug.
Plug it.
I'm a brand ambassador for a lot of things. I need to plug everything.
What else you got, Marcus?
Just throw it out.
At Dirty Prospector. Speed round.
First question. What's your drink of choice?
Usually it would be a spicy margarita mezcal based. And that's because I love margaritas and I love mezcal, which has like that smokiness similar to a whiskey, and I like it spicy.
Okay.
Alrighty. What's your favorite clothing brand?
Clothing brand. That's an
That you
interesting.
don't own, because also you've done a lot.
You can't run the
Or you could
clothing
just-
brand.
Maybe just brand. What's your favorite brand?
Brands. That's a really good question. I'm a pretty basic person when it comes to like jeans, and that's because like jeans is like one of those things that's so hard to shop for, and once you know your brand, kind of stick with it. Like so, I'm a sucker for just Levi's, and like
Totally.
like when I buy my Levi's and they have it in my size and they have that number that I buy specifically, I buy like 5-6 of them, so I don't have to do this again every couple months or whatever.
That's just a classic brand.
But I mean, if Diesel or some other jeans brand, if I had the energy to go there and try out the fits and like find the next good pair that I really like, I'm not that loyal when it comes to clothing. I'm picky about how it fits me. I care more about the fit, because you can go to Zara and like get a really nice suit that's really affordable. You don't have to spend $3,000 like for what, just to be bougie.
No one's gonna look at your tag.
Yeah, so I'd rather spend less as long as I look good, rather than just spend the money just to like show off, and like I not to drop any names, but I have some friends that have a ton of money and they're the most disgustingly like obnoxiously dressed people in the world, and that's because they're just doing it on purpose almost. But I'm not necessarily brand loyal to like brand. Yeah. No,
for branding purposes though?
No loyalty in the closet.
No!
Oh, Marcus.
I don't like that. But for branding purposes, like, what is your favorite brand that isn't yours again? Like something that they bring to the table that you like really admire.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing, and it's not about admiration per se, but anybody that knows me well enough, they know I'm a big Adidas fan. Mm-hmm. So all my gear, all my athletic gear is Adidas, and frankly, like all my golf shirts are Adidas, and that's because that's literally just because I'm German. And so I support that brand in a sense.
Got it.
And also, growing up as a little German boy, watching soccer and they all wear Adidas, like it has like burned that image of quality into my head. And I'm not saying Nike is worse or better, or that there's other brands that are more affordable that are just as good, but that just tends to be my brand when it comes to purely athletics. And admiring the brand of obviously I know the history behind it, the founders, and how it broke up with the brothers and became Puma out of that, and just the way they're marketing themselves and the way they have taken like such a huge piece of that athletic market is just very impressive for me, and also how forward thinking they are in changing from a old school model to a fast fashion brand, and adapting to it, because they're seeing brands like H&M and Saks like stealing market away from them, so they have to adjust, and now they're doing sneaker drops and things like that,
Yeah.
So
good points. Good points.
Last one we have.
Yes.
Someone you look up to.
I think I look up to a lot of people. I think, and it's not about who do I look up to, like they're like a god figure. It's more like I look up to people for different reasons. I look up to people that are just like you guys, that are actually pursuing what you really want to do, and it's not easy. It's hard work, and I admire that. You're sticking with it.
That was really sweet. You didn't have to be that nice to us.
Cheers to you guys.
Aww.
I got a tattoo last weekend. That was fun.
I want to see.
This one.
Oh, cool.
Full moon.
I like it. That's a good shading.
Thank you.
You could ask me how many tattoos do I have.
Do you have any?
Marcus, do you have tattoos? Yeah. What?
This is literally new.
They're all hidden.
Like, okay.
Okay, I don't know where to
Just kidding. It's just one on my shoulder. That's it. Actually, I can show it to you.
What is it? Why have we never seen it?
Because it's always hidden.
Okay. See you when you get that.
So,
that looks like it was painful as fuck.
No, it wasn't. It was like just like a cat scratching.
Like
actually, the outline hurt more, and obviously it's done by a shitty artist.
Some of the shitty tattoos, though, those are the most meaningful ones, When
this one basically was, I got it at 17. I moved to. I got it one day, so that was illegal on purpose.
You can say one day before you turned 18.
Yeah.
Oh, intentionally.
Intentionally, bad boy.
The artist said. Okay.
So the story is, I was actually in Washington D.C. and I wanted to spend. So I moved here when I was 16, right? Mm-hmm. And then my 17th birthday, I was like, you know what? I want to party and I want to have a good time. So I'm going to go to D.C. where my cousin lives, and I know we're going to get drunk and blasted and do all the fun stuff. And so the day before my birthday, we decided that like I'm going to get a tattoo, and the most meaningful thing to me is that now that I'm living in America and that I'm going to be here for quite a while, because I was going to be here throughout all my college years.
Were you planning to go back?
Yeah. That was the plan. I was going to be like, I'm going to learn everything here, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to shape Germany into being this entrepreneur over there. But then, I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, like, you know, like I'm like just the vibe here, the culture here, the weather here, like you can't beat it, you know. When I think about Germany, like cold, winter, nasty, very seniority based culturally. So if you don't have gray hair or some wrinkles, they don't respect you, right? If you're a minority, there's even less respect, right? So as a woman, you know, it's just a little bit more. And I'm not speaking for all of Germany. I'm speaking for that part where I grew up in specifically. And so I said, like, I'm going to always be a German because there's German principles that I still carry with me, such as like the hard work, logical thinking, and no nonsense type of person, very direct. But I am going to change. But just as a reminder, I put that on my shoulder. And this is the Bundesadler, which they had since 1950. So this was the eagle that they created after the World War II. The World War II eagle had its wings to the sides, which if the eagle has its wings to the side, it's because it's attacking. If the eagle has the wings down, it's because there's just standing pride.
Right.
You know, so that's what that signifies for me, my German pride.
Nice.
Freaking beautiful.
So deep.
Damn.
I don't have any sets.
It's an ugly tattoo, but it means a lot.
I love that. If you guys aren't watching and you're only listening, you gotta come. You gotta come look. Come on, please.
What does balance look like for you? Or what would you say, like,
Is it just when you work to the end?
Balance is like that pretty girl that keeps getting away. You know, it's like you're
Oh my god.
It's like,
Literally didn't.
He just had to turn it into that.
Okay, continue.
Go on.
well, it's like you know, it's like you're trying to achieve it, but it just doesn't work. You know, like because especially as an entrepreneur who's so overdriven, like I do neglect a lot of things that I shouldn't be neglecting, and
Right.
you know, and it's sometimes it's like if you want to accomplish one thing, they have that saying like, oh, if you're good at work, you're not going to be good in love. If you're good at love, you're not going to be good at work, and like all these like different things. And there's always like grass is greener on the other side. I know which side I'm standing on, which also means that I know I'm never going to quite have that balance that I continue to chase, but never quite going to get.
Okay.
We're literally doing an episode next week on work-life balance, so we're gonna take
I will be
that.
back.
It's like not gonna happen.
Don't do it. It's not happening.
Awesome. So we're switching it around.
Yeah,
Sure.
so you can ask the question.
Lightning hour, the reverse.
Oh, I'm scared.
Can't. I'm not. Don't have an answer.
All right.
like
We're gonna
I
start.
didn't
We're
bring
gonna start with an easy one.
Okay.
Question to you.
What's specific?
Yeah, specific.
God damn
this. Okay.
What is something that you're grateful for today?
Today, specifically,
I mean, there's good things you're grateful for probably every day, right? So that's all counts.
I'm grateful for Mel because I feel like without Mel, I don't know where we would be. Like as partners, as people, I feel like we help each other grow, like as a business and as people. I'm gonna cry.
No,
Marcus, why can't you do this?
My bad.
Anyways, it's Mel.
Well, here I'm like,
It's Mel, guys.
all right.
Mel, question to you. What's your biggest goal that you have not shared with someone yet?
Okay.
Ooh.
That hidden goal.
Hitting goal, huh? I think something, well, I mean, I've told people about this, or like, I think the people closest to me know this. I think you know this, and like Logan knows this. But I think it's also like career focused. But I'm like really into interior design.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I'd like to like move forward with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think like I currently have the time for it, nor like the education or anything like that. But I think later in life, like that would, well, I want that to be kind of one of my purposes, is to design homes for people, because I feel like homes are just like that space that you come back to, and like it like just keeps you sane, you know?
Right.
And just, I don't know, like, there's so many facets to a home that isn't
Right.
just like where your parents are or like where you live. It like means so much more. And I feel like as I'm growing older, I'm like realizing how much like spending time at home means to me. And how much like the space around me looks like affects me. And I just like, I love the idea of like doing that. And I think that's like just something that I keep like tabbing for later, you know? That's one of my goals.
I like that. Interior design is it's like such a like interesting world, because Like I remember like I'm walking into HD Buttercup and I'm like, oh, this is great. This looks fantastic. I look at the price. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here.
Absolutely.
This is out of my budget. You know, I looked at the sofa. I remember specifically walking up to the sofa. It was like super dark brown vintage leather, and it had this like English flag in the middle, like stitched into the leather. And I'm not English. I don't care about England. But it looked so dope. I'm like, man, if I had a recording studio, like this would be like
This would be it.
This would be it. So I'm like, I'm just curious. I'm just a curious cat. So I approach it. I look at it, $7,000. I'm like, this is a $7,000 sofa. It only sits 3 people.
Me at Restoration Hardware, I'm like,
Yeah.
I hate looking at prices, like going somewhere and you're like, I'm just gonna, nobody saw that.
I'm literally like, I shouldn't walk into the store right now.
Yeah. But that's the beauty about interior design is too is hunting for like cool vintage things. Like
it's another thing. Like I feel like I'm very about vintage and like sustainability. So like finding cool pieces from the past. I think also like I live in my brain. It lives in like the 70s and the 80s. Right. Like aesthetically, bringing that in, I would love to do that.
Well, the thing about interior design too is I think that if the opportunity as an entrepreneur is to develop a product that is like a must-have piece for interior design, and you make a ton of money selling that particular product. I think right now I'm working with a client of mine that is into plants, and plants are a beautiful thing. And when it comes to plant decoration, innovation, and plant holders for multiple plants, plant hangers, there's a lot of things that can be done that look a lot more beautiful. That's just not readily available in the market. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in that space, which is something I'm looking into very much. Third question, back to you.
These are really intense, dude.
What is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
What is a big pet peeve of mine? Are pet peeves supposed to be like small? Like tiny?
No, it could be big, but it could be small. Depending, I don't know.
I was gonna say plans.
Plans?
Plans are a big pet peeve of mine, but I already
What do
know
you mean
I'm
by that?
You don't like making plans?
No, I hate when people can't commit to a plan.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
I know in my brain, like, life happens. You can't plan for everything. Like, stuff happens. So, like, I'm the type of person where, like, if something cancels on me, I'm like, oh, whatever. But then when I have to cancel on somebody else, I'm like, oh my God, this is, like, the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. Like, I feel so bad. I'm ruining their day. I'm ruining everything.
Right.
And then I guess it's, like, a pet peeve of myself. Like, something I do that I don't like. I don't like breaking plans. Because for me, I'm a very plan-oriented person. I don't go with the flow. I don't do that.
Right.
I can't do that. I don't know why. I just can't. I need to know
for
what's
yourself,
happening.
though. I feel like with other people, you can be like
with other people, I am. But my own life plan, I'm like,
you're organized about it. You have goals that you want to achieve, and they're on a timeline.
Yes, which
Smart goals.
I kind of hate, but it's there.
Feel it.
Another question to you. Now, actually, it's a question to almost both, so you can both answer this. You both know me pretty well now. Or decently enough, I would say, because you've known me as a professor, as a mentor, and now we're even venture partners in something. I don't know if you've talked about that before on the vlog.
If
a little bit.
If not, you will.
Yeah, eventually.
In more detail. But my question to you both is, what is the one thing that annoys you the most about me?
Oh my God, Marcus, you already know the answer to that. You go.
No. Turn off. Okay, I love this about you, but I also not hate, but like it gets irritating. But I know you're really busy all the time. I think this is more like now becoming business partners. But like you have so many things going on in your life that it's hard to get a hold of you for like a moment. And when we do have you, I feel like we need to like come up with a plan to get as much in. Because or else we won't get it, Right. That is the only thing. I think it's just like, I guess like timing. I think you're so busy, and I get it though. I feel like I don't ever want to like slow you down at all. But I think like for us too, like we want to continue our own business adventures and like be still like as hyped.
Yeah.
And I think like for us, it's really slow right now because we only have 2 things going on.
Right.
But for you, like you have 1 billion. Yeah. So like I get it, but like also
I'm a bottleneck.
Marcus is a bottleneck.
But that's it. That's my not my pet peeve, but like what I find.
Right.
What did you ask? What we dislike
about
about
you?
you?
Yeah. What annoys?
We don't
Annoys. What annoys you?
Okay,
You know?
annoys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say it's
Yeah.
annoying.
I
I can say that's annoying. It's annoying that you're a bottleneck.
Trust me, I can see that too. That I'm annoying. There's a lot of people out there watching this that probably know, like, oh, Marcus, yeah, he can be annoying.
Marcus is annoying, yes.
No, but
But we love Marcus overall, so that's what matters.
I appreciate it. And that is all for us. From to you, hello and goodbye. Glowing hour is over.
We will see you guys in the next one.